Hey, what's up everybody? Rob Marzullo here, Ram Studio Comics. Welcome back. So this is lesson number 2. I'm going to draw the character on the right for you this time. And remember, this is actually part of a larger course that's on Udemy called How to Draw a Dynamic Superhero Start to Finish. So if you like these lessons and you want to learn more, you can check out the link in the description box below. And please feel free to give me any feedback from this particular lesson. So comment in the section below, let others know what you think, and we'll go on from there. So without further ado, let's jump on in and draw this character. Okay, so now this one, I actually want to explain what I'm going to draw before. And the reason being is because if I just time-lapse me drawing, you could, see the process, and I think that's still good food for thought. But at the same time, you could probably make the argument that like, well, you're just scribbling and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. A lot of times you have to challenge yourself to go into a concept knowing exactly what you're going to draw. Reason being, when you work commercially, someone's going to give you a script. And if you don't develop that ability to read the script and then draw what you see, then good luck working with clients, and even commissions are going to become pretty tricky. So what we need to do is first paint a narrative, just easy narrative, but we'll say a character swinging on a rope, so like a Batgirl type thing or whatever, but she's swinging on a rope or whatever and kind of kicking her legs out towards camera. We'll do it a slight tilt away from camera so it's not too tricky. I want to start a little bit more basic and work up to anything more complex so that it doesn't, send you astray if you're not ready for that. So that's the narrative. And where's the camera angle? We'll say the camera angle is a little bit low. So we're kind of looking up at the character just a little bit. So what we do there is we'd first establish our line of sight. Okay, that's a horribly not straight line. It doesn't have to be anyways, but that's my best attempt at a straight line. So our line of sight's up there, which means that we're looking, oh, wait a second. We'd be looking down at the character. My bad. Goodness. I make mistakes too, people. All right, so now we're looking up at the character. So just so you know, if there was a vanishing point, we're looking up at stuff, right? So she's flying through the air. She's on a slight angle. Let's get the main masses of the body in. So let's figure out where her torso is. She's swinging on a rope, so her torso is going to be angled away from us a little bit. There's the middle section of the torso. Here's that rib cage, just basic shapes just to get started. Arms are going to be up. I would say they're relatively even because she's holding onto a rope. Maybe not. I guess it depends on how she would hold onto the rope. Let's get the shoulders in place. We're only going to see one shoulder, so the other one's going to get cut off like that. And then they're probably going to come together. Her elbows are probably going to kind of come together for balance, something like that. And the arms are going to come up and attach to the rope. Okay, so the clavicles or collarbones are going to be way up here, and we got to think about the arc of the back, the legs coming out towards camera. So let's put an extreme arc in the back like this. Let's get that pelvis shape in there, and let's tilt that differently than the upper body because, obviously with the arc, that's going to tilt back now like this. Okay, and then the legs coming out towards camera like that, or that's actually a little bit further away. Let me do this. And this is where it's kind of funny with the stick person effect. You got to try to visualize depth with two dots and a line, but it does work. You get better at it over time. So let's have one leg kind of out more, and then I like that downward turn on the foot. We'll put that in there, and then we'll bring the other leg back. Okay. And then what we'll do for the head, see if we do this, we can either bring the head up forward like she's kind of looking through her arms, which, I don't know, that might be a little bit forced. Or we can bring the arms up further and then tilt the head off to the side. And then you just kind of get the eyes peeking over just a little bit. I think that looks a touch more natural, so we're going to probably go with that. So let's try to refine this a little bit more. And I probably should have started with the rope as well, just because you want that kind of feeling that everything works together and it's attached. You don't want to get in the habit of, like with this girl over here, just drawing on a blank white canvas. It can be fun, but if you don't get used to attaching them to some kind of background or prop, we'll say, for lack of a better term, then you're not going to get a real solid feel to your characters. They always work better when they're in some kind of scenario and attached to, again, a prop. So let's take this now and let's try to refine it with some basic shapes. So circle for the shoulder, cylinder for the arm. We're not going to really see this shoulder. We got to remember the shoulder comes up. The collarbone kind of attaches like this. We get that rib cage in there. You get some muscle on the side here in the back. And I probably need to bring that in more and bring the hip out pretty far since this leg is off to the side. So I'm going to bring that out. Now this is where it gets tricky too on these angles, because as I started, I have the knee way up here. Well, you could see if I put her knee up here, it almost works because of foreshortening, but it might make the leg look too stocky. So what I'm going to do is kind of keep an eye on that, because like I said, it may or may not work. Front of the leg from this angle will probably look relatively straight. The foot will have this downturn, kind of, you know, pointing her foot out. Something like that. Feet are always tricky, so I'll probably slaughter that for a minute and then come back. That's usually what I do. Yeah, and that was kind of my fear. The upper leg just looks too stocky, and I ended up making the bottom portion of the leg too large. So let's go back here a little, and let's extend this down. And that's really why I like a combination of establishing the lengths and then adding the forms, and still not being committed to that decision until I render the anatomy over top, because I don't always pick the right lengths with the stick man or stick woman representation that I do. So it's really just a process of getting, you know, closer and closer step by step. So now this leg, I don't like making it look like they're both the same direction. I think it'll look better, hopefully, if I have one tucked back a little more. And then this is always tricky, getting the leg to look right as it recedes into space. But notice I'm trying to use that perspective line that we have to kind of guide me. So the body and perspective is can be very helpful. Or the perspective lines with the body can be very helpful, and we're going to talk more about that as well. So we'll just say something like that. We're going to keep it basic just to get this thing done. So we got to figure out where the elbows would be. I'll say somewhere around here. And this is the other kind of neat thing. Like, once you've got one arm in place, there's your information for the other arm, right? So if we know that when you bring your arms together, your elbows end up in basically the same spot. So it's kind of neat. It's almost like another perspective. Or helps you with foreshortening, basically. And now I'm seeing the head's too far back based on where it's currently at. So let me see if we can make this work. Yeah, I think it still works. It's a little strange looking, but that's fine. I'll be the first person to draw something strange in a comic. So yeah, so there's our basic pose. Now, the only thing is she just kind of looks like she's running, but I think that's partly because of this horizon line that I have. So we have to maybe embellish it a little bit more. I think if we tilted this leg versus straight out, or even slanted the body even more, you'll see me constantly tweak and tilt things, and probably even more arc to the back, I think. So let me try that, because it just looks like she's not really overextending herself as much as she would be if she was swinging in action. Now, the thing is too, is that if you can find some great reference of, you know, a person doing this, that's awesome, you know. But it's always, I look at it like it's so tricky to find great reference like that. You really want to develop your ability to edit the work and come up with it. But, you know, don't discount it. If you can get lucky and find something like that, use it, learn from it, commit it to memory in any way that you can, and keep on pressing forward. Now, other things that help, obviously with comics when you're doing this, is the fact that, you know, you can add a cape, and, you know, you can add other dynamics that really help sell it. So that's what's nice about comics. It's like you don't just have to draw the character like that. You know, you add her hair, and her hair is flowing in the wind or whatever. So all of a sudden it looks like she has a lot more movement than she did a moment ago. So props, again, are really important for, you know, selling that action and that feeling of movement. And I think as well, if we get rid of this line, it won't read so much like she's on the ground. Now, obviously, another thing would be, you know, if we were doing a full scene, which I won't get too far into this, but we could add buildings at another perspective, you know, with some of these perspective lines, and show that she's, you know, now flying in the air, and that's really going to help push it. So, you know, clouds going up like this, a couple of birds, you know, the whole story there. So that's how you do it. I mean, that's just another scene. I'll do some more that I'm going to time lapse through, but I wanted to at least give you an idea of like how I would try to approach something if somebody gave me a script. And you know, it's not to say that the first sketch comes out the best, and that's always why you want to keep these rough sketches very quick, very loose, very energetic, so that you can show them to clients and they go, oh yeah, I like it, or no, let's change this, change that, change as much as you can here. You'll be glad you did. But yeah, so let's move on to some more examples. And these ones, like I said, I will time lapse and try to get some more variety going here for you. So let's do it. Well, so that'll complete the lesson. I hope you enjoyed it. And just so you know, these are more images from the entire course that you'll get to kind of work along with. Some are time-lapse, but a lot of them are real time. And the main thing is I explain the process of drawing characters in perspective, foreshortening. We get into a lot of things, and the course will actually evolve over time. So as your feedback comes in the way of, you know, honest reviews, I'll actually add content to the course, because this thing at the end of the day should be like a really comprehensive book, basically. So it's divided into sections as well, so that you can reference certain parts of it that you might need. So if you need to brush up on poses, or again, foreshortening, perspective, whatever, all the things that go into drawing complex bodies that we need for superhero art and other imaginative character types will all be packed into this course. So again, let me know what you think, and I'm here if you got any questions. As always, keep drawing, keep having fun, and I will talk to you soon.